That was a very pleasant day with a clear sky, and we were on our way to the sanctuary of Lourdes. Hello, and welcome to our channel. And thus, you're watching us on our sixth day tour in the Europe. And as you know, now we are in this beautiful city of France called the Lourdes. If you're here after watching our previous video on how we traveled to Lourdes from France, then I'm sure that you would be knowing that we have reached here at midnight the night before and just had time fully to rest. Waking up in the morning, we were much delighted for this day, and so very soon we got ready. It was about 8 past when we left the room and started walking towards the sanctuary of Lourdes, which was said to be about 10 to 15 minutes walkway from the hotel where we lodged. We could see few people on the way like us walking towards the shrine. Here in the footpath, we could see some pointers with the image of Saint Bernadette, and I probably think that this is used as a guide to lead the way to the sanctuary of Lourdes. Here you can see both the sides of the road were full of shops and restaurants. And with the morning hours, we could see the shops on either sides of the road being opened and set for the day. There are a lot of shops, restaurants, and many outlets with souvenirs and beautiful gifts. People shop here and take back memories and gifts for the loved ones back home. This was probably the first time being in Europe we got to see a sunshine, as mostly all the days in Paris were either with showers or cold winds. And after walking for about 10 minutes, we came across a small bridge. This stream was gushing forth with crystal clear water, and the sound of water was really relaxing. And this is how it looked like. And also from this bridge, we could see at the far end the sanctuary of Lourdes. We were so excited to travel to this place and visit the sanctuary of Lourdes. Soon, we reached the gates of the sanctuary and with full excitement walked into the premises through this St. Michael's Gate. As this place and the apparitions of Virgin Mary are very close to our hearts, right from our childhood days. And so coming here was like living a dream for us. And as we enter, the first thing we see is this great crucifix of our Lord Jesus Christ. You can see the crucifix is right in the center and in line with the basilicas. This crucifix, also known as the Rosary Basilica Cross, was built in the year 1863. And since then, it has become an iconic symbol of pilgrimage and faith to millions of visitors who visit this place. And then we walked along the pathway towards the shrine and the basilica. This pathway is also known as the Rosary Square. Now, for those of you who are not aware why this small town Lourdes in France is famous for, I shortly would like to mention here that the Sanctuary of Lourdes is a Catholic Marian shrine and pilgrimage center dedicated to Our Lady of Lourdes. The Sanctuary of Lourdes is very popular among Christians all over the world for the famous Marian apparitions to a young girl in Lourdes, now known as Saint Bernadette. And ever since, visitors come here as a site of pilgrimage to pay respect and prayers to the Blessed Virgin Mary. On either sides of this pathway, we could also see some small grotto and also a church where people walk in for confessionals. Walking along the Rosary Square, we came to this tower and there was a large statue of the Immaculate Conception. This statue was really tall, large, and beautiful. This great statue is made of cast iron and was built in the year 1871. And you can see people on the way to the Basilica stop here and pray to the Blessed Virgin. And right in front of this are the famous Basilicas of the Sanctuary of Lourdes. The sanctuary holds three large basilicas Now, what you see in front is the upper Basilica of Immaculate Conception and the lower Basilica of Rosary. And the third is an underground Basilica of Saint Pius situated within the sanctuary. This sanctuary covers an area of 53 hectares of land and lies at the foot of the Pyrenees Mountains and is said to have 29 places of worship within the campus. And this place is highly popular among Christians for miraculous cure of the sick ever since the time of apparitions to Saint Bernadette. The first chapel was requested by the Blessed Virgin Mary to Saint Bernadette during the 13th apparition and is now known as the Basilica of Immaculate Conception, which overlooks the Basilica of Our Lady of Rosary on top. So now you can see us standing in front of the Basilica, and there's a huge crowd of pilgrims right here. Later on, each of these basilicas were built in response to the growing number of pilgrims from the time of apparitions, and all these basilicas have their own importance in the sanctuary. So first, before entering the basilica, we thought of visiting the miraculous grotto, where the apparitions took place. Along this side of the basilica, we walked through this lush green path towards the grotto. And to our amazement, there was a long line of visitors and many waiting along the way to join the procession to the grotto. After spending some time here, and since the line was long, we again changed our plans. We thought to visit the basilica and then return back and join the procession. So again, we came back to the front of basilica, and this is how it looks like from here. Then we entered the Basilica of Our Lady of Rosary. This is the lower basilica and is dedicated to Our Lady of Rosary. On entering inside, this is how it looks like. It is built in Roman Byzantine style and was blessed on 7th August 1889 and later consecrated on 6th October 1901. People were walking in and offering prayers in great silence. This is the altar at the Basilica of Rosary, and here was a portrait of Our Lady, a unique one, of course, which I've never seen before. On either sides of the basilica, there were small altars depicting the mysteries of the Rosary. We then walked towards few of the altars, like this one is the altar of resurrection. We then walked towards another altar adjacent to this basilica. This was the altar of a Blessed Virgin Mary and was dedicated for the pilgrims to light candles. Religiously, people were lighting candles and offering prayers. Coming out from there, we took the steps by the side of this basilica to the Basilica of Immaculate Conception. On ascending the steps, this was how it looked like. Reaching the top here, we could see a landing. The typical golden crown of the Lourdes Basilica could be seen from here, and it was also a spot for pictures for many. Now, this is how the whole area of the Sanctuary of Lourdes, from the gates and the Rosary Square, looks like from here. And we could see lots and lots of visitors and pilgrims walking in towards the sanctuary. So, this is for you to have a visual of how the whole place looks like. And this what you see is the side of the basilica where there is a beautiful stream flowing, and that adds beauty to the entire place. Now from this landing, we walked ahead to the Basilica of Immaculate Conception. And this is how the outside of the Basilica of Immaculate Conception looks like. It has a large clock and a bell tower on top. This Basilica of Immaculate Conception has got two churches, one on this level and the other one on top of this. On either sides, there are two bell towers, and right in front of it is the golden crown of Lourdes. And first, we thought to enter the lower church of the Immaculate Conception. As we walk in, we could see a portrait of Saint Bernadette with a direction towards the right, where some relics are kept. Also on the other side, there was a large statue of Saint Peter. We took the passage ahead, which directly led us to the inside of the Basilica of Immaculate Conception. Different language masses are often held here on scheduled timings. There in the altar was a beautiful statue of Immaculate Conception, and I think it's probably made of stone or marble, as it looked very solid and beautiful. On either sides of the altar, we could also see similar kind of statues of different saints. Here was pin drop silence, and people were seen in deep prayer. We also spent some time here. We left this holy place and, walking through the passage, came to the entrance where we had seen the portrait of Saint Bernadette directing towards the relic. We could see an altar of Saint Bernadette for lighting candles. Also, all the details of the apparitions engraved in the walls right in this altar. As people were walking in and the place was getting a little crowded, so we left the altar and then coming out, We took the steps on the sides and reached the upper part of this Basilica of Immaculate Conception. We entered through the door and walked straight towards the altar. This was a huge altar, and the style of construction depicts the age. This basilica is built in neo-Gothic architecture. This basilica was blessed on 15th August 1871 and later consecrated on 1st July 1876. The stained glass which you see on the windows are detailed with the 18 apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary and also the history of Lourdes and the church. And to the naked eyes, the colored glass looks really beautiful. This one looks a little old in construction and seems to be the first one built here on request by the Blessed Virgin Mary to Saint Bernadette during one of the apparitions. We had spent a good time here as it was a real dream come true for us to be in this holy place and also among one of the millions and millions of pilgrims who had visited here since the ages. After a while, coming out of the basilica, this is how the surroundings looked like. The golden crown of Lourdes was much visible from here and looked really stunning. Before the apparitions, the Lourdes was a very small town, and it became famous following the apparitions that occurred in the year 1858, where the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to a 14-year-old girl named Bernadette. The first of the apparitions was on 11th February 1858, and since then Our Lady appeared regularly to the young Bernadette for a span of 6 months. The last of the apparitions was reported on 16th July 1858, and it was during one of these apparitions where Blessed Virgin asked to build a chapel in honor of the Immaculate Conception of Mary. And ever since the apparitions, this sanctuary and this place itself is a destination for the sick and disabled persons. Millions of sick and disabled people are said to make pilgrimage to this place and get cured by the miraculous water flowing from the grotto, commonly known as the Lourdes water. We took a lot of pictures and all the clips what you see from here. That was a peaceable and wonderful time being in the Basilicas of Lourdes. We also met with some pilgrims who have come all the way from India and even many pilgrims who have come from the Middle East like us. After spending a good time here, we started walking all the way down, and this what you see is the long view of the bath of Lourdes, which was famous for a very long time for miraculous cures, but is actually closed now since few years. Reaching down and along the way, we could see a place where Lourdes water of gesture was available to collect. This was set as an alternative to the bath of Lourdes. Many were seen collecting in bottles of different sizes and shapes to take back home and present to the loved ones, so that anyone who wished to bath could symbolically perform gestures and get cured. We also collected water in whatever bottles we had, and then from there we walked towards the Grotto of Lourdes. The same grotto where we had reached in the morning but couldn't join the procession. Now being the peak noon time, the line was little short than we saw in the morning. And this is how the famous Grotto of Lourdes looks like. It was here where most of the apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary to Saint Bernadette took place in 1858. Though at the time of apparition, this grotto was well outside the town and only few people came across this place either for pasturing their flocks or for cutting the woods. The 14-year-old Bernadette, along with her sister and a friend, used to come around this grotto taking care of her sheep. And it was during one of those times when a lady appeared to her first on 11th February 1858 and later for about 18 times till 16th July 1858. It was on one of these occasions when the lady introduced herself as the Immaculate Conception and also asked Bernadette to drink water from the spring inside the grotto and wash herself with it. The lady also requested Bernadette to tell the priest to build a chapel at the grotto site. Ever since, this grotto and the spring of waters is visited by pilgrims from all over the world and is believed to be the miraculous site of apparitions. Eventually, in due course of many years, the chapel and the basilicas came into construction, and now we can see the present-day sanctuary of Lourdes as it is. Now, if you look carefully, you can see the mounting of the famous large candles at the Lourdes Grotto. This time, we also stood in line and joined the procession to the grotto and the spring of waters. During the procession, it was a way to touch the rocks and move on prayerfully towards the spring of waters. As you can see, everyone doing the same. The spring of water was protected inside a glass chamber. After the procession from the grotto, we walked ahead towards the place designated to collect the sacred water of Lourdes. This, you see, is a place dedicated for that. And this is how we collect the water. And from here, we leisurely walk towards the bridge to cross over to the other side of the sanctuary. Where the stations of the cross are placed at different locations. Crossing the bridge, we could see a lot of crowd on this side also. By the side of the river, here was an open place, and we could see many people praying, resting, and refreshing at this place. We also thought to relax for some time, but at the far end, we saw a sight of a train passing by. Though the view was amazing, it reminded us of our train scheduled in the evening. And so, without wasting time, we walked towards the Chapel of Lights. And here we get the special Lourdes candles to light in honor of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Lots of people could be seen lighting the candles. The process was very simple. We just have to make payment and get the desired candle, as there are candles of different sizes arranged according to the price. Light it and then install it over the candle stands. Close by to the chapel of light is a statue of Our Lady, which is very familiar to all of us. Taking some pictures and clips, we walked our way back to the bridge and crossed to the side of the Basilica and the Grotto. And this, you see, is a view of the Basilica and the Grotto from this side. Passing by the grotto, we could still see procession of people towards the grotto. It was past 3 p.m. and it was almost time for us to say goodbye to the sanctuary of Lourdes. We started walking away from the basilica and came to the other side to the museum of Saint Bernadette. Initially, there was no one as we entered, so we could film it in a better way. And here's how the entrance of the museum looked like. And walking inwards, we could see the details of the apparitions and many of the miracles reported by the intercession of Our Lady through Saint Bernadette. And this for you is a glimpse of the museum inside. What you see on top are banners with the details of the 18 apparitions given in 5 different languages. Though initially there was no one as we entered, but by this time, few other groups of pilgrims had also come here. As the time was running very fast, we left the museum and had to say a quick goodbye to the sanctuary of Lourdes, as we had a train to catch past 6 p.m. We left the sanctuary of Lourdes, came to the streets, and we bought some souvenirs and some gifts to take back home. We then quickly reached our room and cleared up everything, packed our bags, and started to leave. Since our hotel was also near to the Lodi station, we chose to walk. And on the way, this is what we saw: a patch of garden with these beautiful flowers. Took some pictures, talked about our excitement of visiting the Sanctuary of Lourdes, and began walking towards the train station. This what you see is a train station at Lourdes. For everyone planning to visit Lourdes, there are all means of transport to this part of France, and only a little planning is required to choose between air, train, or bus, or even private vehicles. It was past 5 and a train was scheduled at 6 pm. The Lodi station was pretty good. It was clean and with all amenities. We had come by a superfast train from Paris to the Lodi station. And in the same way, we are heading back to Paris. As it is from Paris, we are proceeding to our next destination. Our train was expected right on time, and soon we found the correct platform and the right place to wait. We also bought some snacks and a coffee and a bottle of water for the travel. Few other people, after visiting the sanctuary, had also come to the station to catch the same train. After a little waiting, the train arrived right on time. As we got in and settled ourselves, the train left the Lodi station. The train was quite fast and soon picked up speed. Now, I know this video is quite long, but this is for those of you who really wish to come to Lourdes or know more about the Sanctuary of Lourdes. I have made all the details possible as I got to know through my visit in this beautiful place. Again, if you have watched this full video, then you might have seen a portion where I showed a train passing by when we were in the Sanctuary of Lourdes near the bridge and the stream. Now, here's the same view of the Sanctuary of Lourdes from a running train. This day was a dream come true, and it was really nostalgic when we passed by the sanctuary, which was now getting very far away. This was a train journey of 4.5 hours. So we thought to take a nap and relax. Meanwhile, It was close to 11 p.m. We reached the Montparnasse station in Paris. We then had to take another metro train and then checked in to a new hotel in Paris. So, I would like to say a big thank you for watching this memory of our travel and sharing your precious time with us. This day was really memorable and will be cherished forever. So, here's a goodbye from us, and soon we'll be back with our next video in which we are traveling to Switzerland from Paris. With all love, do take care and stay blessed.